Boots Ennis, what a great fight. You are a machine. Zayas, a little inexperienced, but you will be back. You're a great fighter. Let's make the biggest fight in boxing today. Vergil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, let's go.
Yeah. This is great. I think it is going to be a great fight.
Yeah, that's why I think we're going to
I just don't know if they're
That's a hell of a fight, though.
We're going to get the fight, though, man.
That's a hell of a fight, though.
The moment Jaron Ennis finished Xander Zaz Oscar De La Hoya was right there with a direct challenge. His message was short and to the point. If you are genuinely the best fighter in this division, then get in the ring with Vergil Ortiz and show it. With that challenge now sitting in the open and Eddie Hearn jumping into the conversation, the path toward one of boxing's most anticipated matchups may have officially started.
We need that fight and boxing needs that fight. So we must make Boots against Ortiz. But realistically, will he do it next? We'll speak to DAZN and Oscar, and if they want to go, we'll consider it with Boots for sure.
After Boots stopped Xander, the conversation among fans quickly turned to Crawford, Fondora, and what the logical next step should be. But Oscar cut through all of that and pointed directly at Vergil Ortiz, making the case that if Boots genuinely wants a meaningful and dangerous test, then Ortiz is already standing right there waiting. And that shifts the entire conversation because Vergil is not someone you take lightly. He is physically strong, relentlessly aggressive, carries real experience, and represents exactly the kind of opponent who can turn Boots's confidence into something that gets genuinely tested. De La Hoya was not simply handing out congratulations and walking away. He was posing a real question about whether Ennis is truly prepared to share the ring with a fighter who will not retreat, who can match his power, and who has the ability to make the fight feel ugly and uncomfortable right from the opening round.
That the man already told you, hey, it's time. You told us that's what was next. If you avoid that and don't do that, you're going to lose a lot of respect from a lot of people. And I might be one of them. Because you acted like
Vergil Ortiz.
You better believe it. You act like you was up for the challenge. Everybody knows that like Boots said, it's time for him. Everybody wants to see Boots against a real opponent. Vergil, you're peaked.
Eddie Hearn laid out his thoughts on a potential Boots versus Vergil Ortiz clash and was very clear about where he stands. He understands the fight would be massive, but he also recognizes that Boots now has an even larger target sitting in front of him. Hearn had already publicly described Boots versus Vergil as one of the most exciting fights that American boxing can currently offer because both men are unbeaten, both are in their absolute prime, and both carry the kind of ability to end a night early. Ortiz comes with relentless forward pressure, genuine stopping power, the toughness to absorb and keep coming, and that traditional Mexican fighting spirit that makes every round feel like a war. Boots, on the other hand, brings elite hand speed, the ability to attack from unusual angles, physical size, and the kind of self-belief that makes him feel untouchable at 154 pounds.
Boots, we've seen some comments online from Vergil Ortiz saying he would sleep. Boots Ennis is what he wrote.
It's all very, Vergil's been out of the game for a long time. If Vergil really wants to fight Boots next, we'll definitely consider it. I think he's going to want a warm-up fight. He's not going to come back till September, October. He would have been out of the ring for a year. Boots will...
Are you saying you're open to doing that?
Yes,
September,
yeah, absolutely. Listen, I really rate Vergil. Vergil going into a Boots fight now, he'll get absolutely destroyed. I'm sorry. But he's been dropped before. Like, you don't realise that. I mean, Xander got hurt bad so many times tonight, but he's got a granite chip. I mean, he's so tough. But listen, Vergil's a great fighter, but Boots is, as he said in the press conference, about the legacy.
After Boots dismantled Xander Zaz and moved another step closer to owning the 154-pound division, Hearn's attention shifted toward the question of legacy. He made it clear that Boots is chasing championship belts rather than simply collecting famous names on his record. That reality means Fondora and undisputed status could come before Vergil ever gets his shot. Even so, Hearn made sure not to close the door entirely. He fully understands that Boots versus Vergil is simply too compelling a fight to quietly fade away. It might not be the immediate next step, but the noise surrounding that matchup is only going to grow louder with time.
Only going to get louder.
I believe Boots is the type of fighter that needs a good fight like that in order to come out of his shell. Is that maybe?
You won't see Boots in a bad fight for the rest of his career. He'll never want a voluntary defense. He wants big fight, big money, big belts, big moments. See that tonight? How's the body of work? Yeah? That's boxing, mate. Stick your garage up your ass, right? Stick your fake belts up your ass. Stick all this up your ass. That is real boxing. The best be the best 16,000 in the Barclays.
Ortiz brings constant pressure and heavy hands, but Hearn clearly feels that Boots possesses the speed, physical advantages, and technical ability to handle whatever Vergil throws at him. After the way Boots performed against Xander, the debate has taken on a whole new level of intensity.
Maybe we fight Vergil Ortiz. You know, and going back to the comments, someone said, ask Vergil Ortiz if he'll take the fight next. Because I don't think he will. And I'd be very surprised because, and by the way, I don't necessarily blame him because he has been out. When was the Lubin fight? I don't know. November last year. So, you know, what are we now? 9 months, 8 months, 9 months. Time he gets in the ring again won't be till September, October. It'll be nearly a year since he's boxed. Are you going to go straight into Jaron Boots Ennis? If you are, let's talk. But realistically, I don't think you are. I think you're going to come back and you're going to go, oh, I want one more fight, and then, which is fine. But, and by the way, we're also not going to sit here and go, we're the champion now. It's a voluntary defence, 15% for a voluntary defence, like you've seen Haney and all these people do. It's like so boring. It's a massive fight, and I can't sit there and tell you that we shouldn't do that fight when I spent 6.
Vergil Ortiz Jr. reacted to Boots' victory, and he came across as completely unbothered by what he watched. He went on social media and made it plain that he was not sitting there feeling threatened. That response immediately changed the temperature of the conversation. While the boxing world was still applauding Boots for the stoppage, Vergil watched that same performance and came away seeing a fighter he genuinely believes he can put to sleep. He was not being careful with his words either. He was saying plainly that if they ever share a ring, he is not just beating Ennis, he is knocking him out cold. Boots answered that challenge without any hesitation whatsoever. He shot back with full confidence, pointing out that he has already spotted weaknesses in Vergil's game and that if the fight happens he expects to win clearly. After Vergil promised to put him to sleep, Boots did not flinch. He basically said Ortiz leaves himself open constantly and that he can see exactly where the vulnerabilities are. That response revealed that Ennis is not simply reacting to trash talk. He is already breaking the matchup down and identifying the spots he plans to exploit.
Came out and said that he was going to sleep you, so I just want to know your comments on those.
Why he take the fight in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Bro, I ain't be talking, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm trying to tell you, I'm really different. He gonna see firsthand. Cause he gets hurt a lot. He flat-footed and he been dropped multiple times. When he get hit by me, it's gonna be different. I'm trying to.
That dynamic is what gives this potential fight such a dangerous and electric quality. Vergil believes Boots takes too many clean shots and that he can be hurt seriously. Meanwhile, Boots believes Vergil is wide open and can be broken down methodically over rounds. So you have two heavy hitters who are both convinced the other man has critical flaws. When two fighters with serious power look at each other and both see somebody they can stop, the fight becomes something truly special before a single punch is even thrown. After the Xander Zaz victory, Boots took to social media to express gratitude and reflect on what the win meant, celebrating his status as unified champion and making it clear that undisputed is the destination. That post told you everything about where his head is. He was grateful for the win, but he was not treating it as the final destination. He thanked those who mattered, acknowledged the city of New York, recognized becoming a unified champion, and then immediately reminded everyone that undisputed is what he is truly chasing. That is why this victory felt like something bigger than just beating Xander Zaz. Boots is already looking ahead. Whoever ends up in front of him next, whether that is Vergil, Fondora, or someone else entirely, he is carrying himself like a fighter who is coming for every belt that exists at 154 pounds.
Sure, a lot of people that thought, oh, Boots could easily dominate Zayas, oh, he'll easily dominate Ortiz. Now they're gonna think, man, him against Ortiz is gonna be a war, a beautiful fight. So it brings more attention to the fans to push for this fight, promoters to work together and make this fight happen because of what Boots showed last night. You know, besides him also getting hit and getting tagged and maybe getting stunned and a couple of times, but he showed heart, he showed power. So that's one thing that people love, the fans love. So I think that this performance makes the bigger fights against Ortiz or other big names.
Robert Garcia knows full well that Boots is a genuinely serious problem because of his hand speed, physical size, sharp angles, and the added confidence that comes from feeling even more powerful at the new weight. This is not a fight Vergil walks into and controls easily. Ortiz would look to wear Boots down through relentless pressure, while Boots would try to use his movement, precision timing, and sharp counters to punish every gap Vergil leaves behind him.
Everybody already knows, everybody already hears that things are looking good with Golden Boy, working things out. Plan is to get Vergil before the end of the year. Let's make this fight happen. Let's do it, because it's going to be a great fight. Vergil style, Boots, what Boots just did last night, it just tells the boxing world that it'll be one of the best fights.
Boxing Ego gave Boots credit for being impressive against Xander, but also made sure to point out the concerning moments within the performance. Ennis got too relaxed at certain points, stayed within punching range longer than he needed to, and gave Zaz enough space to connect with clean shots.
Jaron Boots Ennis gets knocked out if he faces Vergil Ortiz. This is what Vergil Ortiz is saying after Jaron Boots Ennis became a champion by defeating unified Xander.
Ortiz is not the kind of fighter who taps you gently and allows you to recover. He puts genuine weight behind every punch, stays on the attack without letting up, and throws with the kind of nasty intentions that send a message. So Boxing Ego's warning is clear and direct. If Boots hands Vergil the same opportunities he gave Xander, he might not just end up getting caught. He could end up getting seriously hurt in a way that changes the whole fight instantly.
Sleeping him to Jaron Ennis, saying he would knock him out. Vergil Ortiz further stated, if I get him, meaning Boots, like that, I promise you I get him out of there. But notice he put, if I get. Styles make fights, you know what I mean? Now, earlier in the day, or week, or whatever it was, he did pick Jaron Ennis by 4th round knockout, and he thought if Xander fights smart and moves, maybe he can frustrate Jaron, and then Jaron will win by a KO in the 10th. So he picked the right person. Now he believes that if he were to fight against Boots, that there can only be one.
Andre Ward looked at this potential matchup and saw everything boxing fans have been asking for. Ortiz brings his trademark pressure, power, durability, and that volatile style where one perfectly timed shot can completely flip the script. Boots brings his speed, physical size, razor-sharp counters, angular movement, and the confidence of someone who genuinely believes nobody at 154 pounds can touch him on the right night. That combination of qualities is why people have started calling this a collision course. These are not two names casually thrown together to generate interest. These are two rising forces who both look like they belong right near the very top of the division. Ward's point cuts right to the heart of it. Boxing cannot keep building these stories and manufacturing anticipation forever before the moment simply passes by. Ortiz versus Ennis feels genuinely alive and urgent right now. The fans want it. The styles are made for each other. And both fighters have something real to prove. If Boots wants to stand alone as the face of the division, Vergil is exactly the opponent who can validate that claim. If Vergil wants to show the world he is more than pressure, and power, Boots is the perfect examination.
Got in the ring while Vergil Ortiz was doing his post-fight interview, and they went back and forth. And I don't know, normally when you see something like that, you walk away from the TV or wherever you're watching the fight, and you have a lot of confidence that that's going to be the next fight. Based on some of the things that were said, they're arguing about who started it and whose father did what. And then I heard Boots, basically hypothetically say to Eddie Hearn, where's the paperwork? In other words, where's the contract? Let's sign the contract. So I don't know if that's a hypothetical and he's just saying that, or the contract really hasn't been signed. But Roy, I don't know if that fight is going to be next, because after the fight, I hear you and I see you.
Roy Jones Jr. knows Boots has the speed, the clever angles, and the technical sharpness to make Vergil pay whenever he comes forward carelessly. But he also knows Vergil carries the pressure and the stopping power to genuinely hurt Boots if Ennis gets too relaxed or too comfortable. That combination of genuine danger on both sides is what makes the matchup so compelling. Neither man has an easy night waiting for him, and one wrong moment for either fighter could completely change the outcome.
The best option to make us, to let us figure out all the answers that we want to know about Boots Ennis. And you're going to go say about Earl Spence and somebody else? We don't want to hear that. I definitely don't want to hear that. You told us on national TV after the fight that you wanted to do exactly what that man said. That man told you, well, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see you do nothing else.
Sean Porter weighed in on a potential Ennis versus Ortiz fight and saw it as one of the very best matchups boxing could put together right now. Porter knows Boots possesses the hand speed, the physical advantages, the angles, and the technical ability to punish Vergil every time he leaves himself exposed. But he also fully understands that Vergil is not the type of opponent who gives you room to breathe. Ortiz comes with constant forward pressure, serious punching power, and a physical approach that can force Boots into fighting a type of fight he would rather avoid.
The speed coming at him.
Both ways.
That's gonna. It's both ways, but I think it's the speed, the way that Boots uses his speed is different from the way that Ortiz. I think Ortiz has the call on his speed. You know what I mean by that?
No.
So what I mean by call on his speed, like you have guys who are just fluidly boom, 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 boom. Then you got other guys like Ortiz fights with a lot of power, but now I gotta pull back on his power and set you up with the speed. You know, like he has to be intentional and be selective with what he chooses to punch with. And on the other side, Boots is like water, man. He goes from the speed to the power. He goes from the left to the right.
The leverage.
He goes, he switch hits, you know.
More athletic.
Yeah.
Just defense. He does it with no defense.
Greg Hackett knows Boots has the quickness, the sharp angles, and the precision to make Vergil miss and pay a serious price for those misses. But he also knows Vergil is not coming to stand on the outside and box. He is going to walk through fire to bring the pressure. He carries the kind of power that demands constant respect, and he has the toughness to keep grinding through every single round. That is why Hackett sees the fight as something genuinely significant. Boots may have the more exciting style, but Vergil carries the danger. And if Ennis gets comfortable for even a moment, Ortiz has the ability to make him regret it almost immediately.
I ask you, how's that version of Boots versus Vergil? How would that fight go? That's the thing. I don't know, because I feel like you get different versions of Boots depending on who he's fighting. Right. But I'm not gonna lie. If Vergil might have been able to do a little more if he got Boots buzz like that. You know what I mean? Because he throw a tighter shot. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, because we gotta wait and see. That's some we gotta see.
Vergil Ortiz was then asked directly what it would take financially for him to agree to a fight with Jaron Boots, and his answer made the whole matchup feel considerably more real. Ortiz did not come across like someone hunting for reasons to avoid it. He knows Boots is a serious challenge, but he also understands this is exactly the type of fight that can define everything at 154 pounds. That is why the money conversation matters so much. Big fights do not materialize simply because the fans are screaming for them. Both sides have to feel genuinely valued, the financial terms have to make business sense, and the risk involved has to be matched by an appropriate reward. But Vergil's confidence was still very much on display throughout. He genuinely believes he can hurt Boots, and after publicly promising to knock him out this fight, has taken on a deeply personal edge. So the question is no longer whether Vergil has the appetite for the challenge. The real question is whether the money, the timing, and the promotional pieces can all line up at the same time to finally make it happen.
To a certain extent, you don't want to fight no one for free or whatever, which it's not going to happen. Right. But I do think that people outprice themselves sometimes. Yeah. Whether it's to duck or whether they feel like they deserve more genuinely or what, I really don't know. But
yeah, because people have value. You have value. I'm worth a certain amount. Is there a number that you would say, nah, that's too low?
2 million.
That's too low.
Too low.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just wanted to see, where you at. Has anybody ever outpriced themselves to fight you?
Not to my knowledge. No, I don't think so.
You really hands off with the business.
Yeah, I really am.
Well, at least he revealed a little bit, right? 2 million a fight, Boots is too low.
Yeah, and I think that's fair.
Right, yeah, I believe.
According to what you've already received.
Yes.
Do you feel like Boots belongs on the top, pound for pound, right now?
Boots Ennis also gave his honest take on Vergil Ortiz and made it very clear he has no concerns whatsoever about that matchup. Ennis stated plainly that he has already identified holes in the way Vergil fights, and that if they ever share the ring he fully expects to come out on top. He acknowledged that Ortiz brings real power, relentless pressure, and genuine toughness, but argued that none of those qualities make him unbeatable. Boots believes his own speed, angles, movement, and timing will consistently find and punish those openings throughout the fight. That is exactly what gives this potential clash such an explosive quality. Vergil is completely convinced he can hurt Boots. Boots is completely convinced that Vergil is too open and too hittable. So both men are already looking across at each other and seeing an opponent who is carrying exploitable mistakes just waiting to be punished. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And do not forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned and we will catch you in the next one.